Then when that pay cut came and I ended up with bad credit and no money, that motivated me. I just wish everybody would be smarter than me. Don't wait for a financial catastrophe. Do it before the financial catastrophe.
Before we get into it, I want to introduce you to Groundbreaker, today's sponsor and partner. They are an all-in-one suite of tools for small to medium-sized real estate syndicators. They've got a special focus on real estate syndicators with 1 million to 100 million assets under management. They help you increase productivity and investor satisfaction by automating fundraising, reporting, and investor relations through elegant and powerful workflows built by syndicators for syndicators. Groundbreaker will help you scale your business without the need to scale your overhead. So they're going to help reduce your costs because of the admin team that won't need to be as large. And they're going to help you reduce your risk of data breach because of the security systems that they have in place. They'll help you increase your revenue by growing your assets under management because you're going to be allowed to focus on the things that are most important, like business growth and operations, not those administrative logistics. And ultimately, they're going to help you elevate your company's brand and professionalism and investor experience because your investors are going to enjoy having this platform with all their information versus however you're currently doing it. 3 things specifically about Groundbreaker I personally like. 1, super easy to use from an investor standpoint and from a general partner standpoint. 2, it allows investors and general partners to fund electronically, meaning that a limited partner can complete their entire subscription and funding cycle without leaving the platform. And on the general partnership side, for distributions, you can set it up so that you can trigger bulk ACH payments within the platform. And then last thing I really like about Groundbreaker is it's cost effective. It's healthy to the bottom line. Their basic plan allows sponsors to sign up for as little as $100 per month with no limits on deals or investors. And you can read all about the pricing on their website. Speaking of their website, it is groundbreaker.co/Joe, J-O-E. And when you go there, groundbreaker.co/Joe, you're going to get access to a pitch deck that the Groundbreaker team created so that you have a template should you want to use that and customize it for your own deal. So go to groundbreaker.co/Joe. Quick disclaimer, the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as an offer to buy or sell any securities or to make or consider any investment or course of action. For more information, go to bestevershow.com. Best Ever listeners, today's guest is being interviewed by Theo Hicks. You know Theo, he's with us every Friday on Follow Along Friday. You're going to get a lot of value from this conversation. So with that being said, let's get going.
Hello, Best Ever listeners, and welcome to the Best Real Estate Investing Advice Ever Show. I'm Theo Hicks, and today we are speaking with Steve Davis. Steve, how are you doing today?
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thanks for joining us. Looking forward to our conversation. A little bit about Steve. So he is the founder of Real Wealth Academy. He started investing at 27 with wholesaling. He also has experience in flipping and rental properties and now holds over 4,000 apartment units. He is based in Houston, Texas, and you can say hi to him at his website, which is getrealwealth.com. So, Stephen, do you mind telling us a little bit more about your background and what you're focused on today?
Well, I'm really focused on consulting at this point. That's where I spend all of my time. I love my real estate, but I don't like managing it. People are shocked when I say I don't like real estate, but that's just managing it. It's not my passion. Would I ever sell my real estate? No, only under one circumstance, to start another business or to buy more real estate. I love having that second stream of income, but my passion is teaching. And the last 30 years or so, I've been a consultant and teaching people how to do what I did. And the motivation came from the suffering that I went through when I was working 60 hours a week and struggling and won a national sales contest. My reward was they cut my pay by 20 grand a year. And that pain of realizing that having a job is the highest risk position you can possibly be in, and that you have absolutely no control. So I understand that people are suffering. I understand that people don't understand money because it's not taught in high school or college. So that is my mission, is to help ease the pain by teaching people how to use real estate to build wealth, to build passive income, to build that second stream of income. And I love it. So that's where I spend all my time.
Perfect. Let's focus on the consulting. So how long have you been doing this consulting for?
I've actually been mentoring and consulting for 30 plus years.
Okay. So do you have a program where it's a one-on-one type of situation? Is it group mentoring?
I do a combination. I start people off in group mentoring, but some people, that's not enough for them. It wasn't enough for me. I had to get mentors one-on-one to drive me towards my goal. So I do a tremendous amount of one-on-one. I don't like to work more than 40 hours a week, but I would say that I've done 25 hours of consulting and I love it. It's not even like work. It's just sitting with people and seeing their eyes light up when they realize there is hope, that there is something that they can do differently to make a difference financially for them and their family.
Do you think people need requirement to have a mentor or a coach of some sort in order to be successful?
Yes, because if you want to learn it on your own, in other words, you say, look, I'm not going to pay somebody. I can figure this out on my own. It can take 5 to 10 years to learn what I can teach them literally in a 1 8-hour session. And not just me, there's tremendous number of great mentors and consultants out there. But I can cut 5 to 10 years off the learning process for people in a 1-day class.
We have a blog post about mentorship, and one of the things that we focus on is making sure that you're in the right position or you're actually prepared to have a mentor. So what are some of the things that you found of people who maybe come into your program and end up not being successful? Is there a thread or common theme between those individuals? Can they just get a mentor whenever, or are there things that they need to do first in order to set themselves up for success?
I think that there is something that they have to have first, and it's got to be a burning desire to change, because building a second stream of income is work, just like your job is work. And if you don't have that burning desire to do it, a clear understanding that you have to do it, then the mentor can't instill that. They can share all the facts. They can show you the mechanics of investing. They can show the mechanics of building that second stream of income. But it's up to the individual to decide and make a strong commitment that they want it. For me, it was the pay cut. That pay cut was the impetus. When I saw the guy who gave me that pay cut, I wanted to hug him because it changed my life. If he had not cut my pay, I might still be working 60 hours a week, broke. We call it our why. Why do you want to do this? Is it more time with the family, more time for romance, more time for travel, more time? And he goes, man, here's my why. My wife of the last 20 years has come down with dementia, which will eventually lead to Alzheimer's. He said, I've got to leave her enough money that she will be taken care of. There's his burning desire. Other people, it's just they want a better life for their children. You'd be amazed how many people enroll in my group because they want to teach their kids this material so that their kids don't suffer with the same fears and insecurities that they did about money. So they got to have a big enough why. I actually turned down a guy who wanted to buy a program from me. I sent him home because all he talked about was money. Money, 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 money. I'm like, money's not going to change your life unless you have a plan for that money. So I sent him home with my goal setting workshop and said, fill this out, come back next week, and we'll talk about it. You've got to have a huge burning desire.
I'm not sure what your structure is, but let's just say you do an hour a week with someone for a year. How much is that talking about the actual mechanics of, hey, here's how you find a deal, here's how you negotiate, here's how you underwrite, here's how you manage it, versus mindset, focusing on having the right mindset to actually go out and do these things?
That is the best question I've ever gotten in an interview. And you know, the answer is probably 60-40. 60% of the time, I'm working on their mentality, and 40% or less on the mechanics, because real estate is easy. I was hard. It was hard for me to get myself to do it. I had read multiple books on real estate investing, and guess how much real estate I own? None, because I couldn't get myself to take action. Then when that pay cut came and I ended up with bad credit and no money, that motivated me. I just wish everybody would be smarter than me. Don't wait for a financial catastrophe. Do it before the financial catastrophe.
What's the most common mindset block you see that people have from, maybe let's not even say getting started, but it could be getting started. Or I guess I'll let you answer that any way you want. What's the biggest mental obstacle you found in the people you've consulted?
Self-doubt is the number one. A lot of times people have tried other things. I'll pick on multi-level marketing, even though multi-level marketing works for certain people. They tried multi-level marketing and they failed. They tried maybe even a franchise and failed. And as Anthony Robbins says, what people start believing is that the past equals the future. It doesn't. You just haven't found the right consultant. You haven't gotten the right support. And they doubt themselves because of past failures. And my lesson is that is not failure. It's simply a result. And what you do is you analyze your results and change or modify your behaviors so that the next result is different. It may not be perfect, but it's going to be better than the first result. It's got to be self-doubt. And that breaks my heart when people who I know are smarter than me, better looking than me, better built than me. And I'm like, you think you can't do it and I did it? Come on. I was a dumb 27-year-old kid, bad credit, no money. If I can do it, you can do it.
So I know a lot of people I've talked to who are consultant mentors, have consultants and mentors. And really, if you kind of break down really anything, it comes down to what you're doing every single day. So what is one of the most important habits you think people need to have or successful people have? What's that one thing that people do every single day that you found common between everyone who's successful? And then on the other hand, that basically would be the same thing that people who aren't successful aren't doing.
I think that successful people wake up every day and they either have their goals written down or they have their goals memorized in such a way that it's the forefront of their thought when they wake up in the morning. It's at the forefront of their thought when they go to bed. And then I've got to refer to Stephen Covey. He talks about one of the habits is put first things first. And put the big rocks in your life first, then the pebbles, if you've seen that video. The successful people put the big rocks in first. They put their family, their romance, their travel, their work. And I like to break finance into two parts of a balanced life. There's career and there's wealth, and they're two different things. But those are both big rocks. They go in first. They don't watch a lot of TV. They don't waste time. They're constantly focused on those big rocks. Then people who I see fail are focused on the pebbles. They're focused on television. They're focused on anything to distract them from getting to the first things. And I borrow again from Stephen Covey. People get caught up in the thick of thin things. They're wasting their time, and people who succeed don't let that minutia get in the way of their big rocks, their big goals, and their focus is on those every single day.
So what's something that someone can do before they have it memorized, before it's become a habit, a routine, they have that momentum? What's something they can start doing to remind themselves of this? I know some people use Post-it notes, some people have vision boards. What have you found to be the best way to remind themselves of this every single day?
I kept a journal, and I have to admit that I don't anymore. But when I was between 27 and probably 40, I had a journal with my goals written down. And when I first wrote them down, I would review them every morning. That was probably for 6 months or longer. And then I would review them about once a week. And I'm not sure how long that was. It wasn't very long, maybe a year or two, before they became ingrained. And I knew exactly what I wanted and what was important. So I think writing your goals down is paramount to beginning this process.
I like your rock and pebble analogy. When you're explaining that, I just thought of having a massive 5-foot stone in my house with whatever my goal is written on it. And every morning I wake up, I look at this massive rock with my goal on it, and maybe like little pebbles that have the words TV and Netflix or whatever on it. I wonder if anyone does that.
I wouldn't doubt it. If you go to YouTube and look up Stephen Covey on the big rocks, there's a video in there where what he does is he pours all these pebbles into the bucket and then says, put all the big rocks in. Well, they won't fit because there's so many pebbles. He says, but what if you changed your paradigm, started with an empty bucket and put the big rocks in first and then poured the pebbles in? See, there is time for TV. There is time for movies and entertainment and all that, but not if you put those in first. Those are secondary. So I actually like your idea. It'd be cool to have lined up the 8 big rocks: family, fitness, relationships, and romance, travel, career, right on your sideboard or chest of drawers right as you're walking out the door every day. Yeah. That's a pretty neat idea.
Yeah, I know people learn in different ways. But that visual you were talking about with the cup and the rocks, I've definitely seen that before. So that's a really good analogy. All right, Steve, what is your best real estate investing advice ever?
Man, you told me that and you gave me a good warning, and now I'm not prepared. I'm going to have to go with never give up. That's the best advice that I can give you. When you get to your first 2 or 3 rent houses, or you invest in your first 2 or 3 apartment complexes or strip shopping centers or whatever you choose, don't stop. I met a guy the other day and he goes, well, I've had 2 rent houses for 10 years. He bought both those rent houses the first year that he started investing. What happened? He stopped. He lost his vision. He didn't pay attention to his goals. Never give up. Keep moving forward.
All right, Steve, are you ready for the best ever lightning round?
Yeah, you told me about this, but I'm not sure what it is.
Well, you're about to find out after this quick word from our sponsor.
Groundbreaker helps you increase productivity and investor satisfaction by automating fundraising, reporting, and investor relations through elegant and powerful workflows built by syndicators for syndicators. Go to groundbreaker.co/Joe. That's groundbreaker.co/Joe to get a free deal pitch deck template. Bob Malecki and his team at Resolution Capital Management partner with individuals to invest in distressed residential mortgage notes. If you're interested in doing a joint venture with them, where basically you invest alongside with them and sharing a portion of the profits based on how well that individual project goes, then go to rcm.company/JV. That's rcm.company/JV.
Okay, Steve, what is the best ever book you've recently read?
Okay, it's got to be The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Dr. Stephen Covey. That is not a real estate book. It's a mindset book. But when I finished reading that book, my life was different. It's an amazing book.
If your business, whether it be your consulting business or your real estate business, were to collapse today, what would you do next?
What would I do next? I'm not allowed to do either of those, huh? Probably be teaching.
You can choose to do one of those again. There's no.
It would be. I'd go right back to it. Yeah, okay. I would go right back to it.
What is the best ever way you like to give back?
Teaching is my favorite way. I honestly feel proud that I give more than I charge for. And the second way is just financial. It's getting that 10% or more of your earned income out to charities that you believe in.
And then lastly, what's the best ever place to reach you?
I love email. Ask Steve at getrealwealth.com. Ask Steve at getrealwealth.com, and you can email me any questions 24 hours a day. I'll get back with you.
Perfect. Well, I really enjoyed our conversation, Steve. I don't get to have these types of mindset conversations a lot on the show, so they're always very enjoyable. So just to kind of summarize some of my biggest takeaways, the first one was, why do people need a mentor? And you said it very succinctly that if you do something on your own, it's going to take you a year, 5 years, 10 years to learn a specific trade. Whereas if you have a mentor, they can teach you that in one session or in 1 week or in 1 month or however long it takes, but it's not going to be as long as it would have taken for you to do it on your own. So a huge time saver. We talked about when is the right time to get a mentor, or what type of preparation you need before you have a mentor. And so that people need to have a burning desire to change. And And that comes down to having a strong why. So you gave a couple examples of your why, which was when you got your pay cut. You gave examples of someone's wife who was sick, people want to better their lives for their children. And then you also mentioned what a bad why is, what a weak why is, which is just wanting money. You mentioned that when you're teaching your clients real estate, it's actually 60% mentality and 40% mechanics. And I really like that you said, real estate is easy, I am hard. So I thought that was a really good quote.
Thanks.
We talked about the biggest obstacle being self-doubt. We talked about the best habit being putting the big goals first, which you sort of were finance being broken into the career and the wealth, as opposed to the small things like basic things that are kind of distraction. And then you gave your best ever advice, which was never give up. Once you start, do not stop. So again, Steve, really enjoyed this conversation. Best ever listeners, I'm sure you enjoyed this conversation as well. Make sure you take advantage of him providing you with his email address. Thank you for listening. Have a best ever day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.